All right, welcome back to Just Car Guys, a show where me and my dad talk about the latest and greatest car news and car stories from the last week.
As a reminder, I haven't seen any of the content that Anthony has prepared for us today, so looking forward to seeing what you got.
All right, starting off here, another week, another recall. Ford is recalling 16,430 2021 F-150 Super Cab trucks over improper seatbelt installation. The issue is the webbing of the seatbelt may have been routed rubber sleeve instead of an anchor, so in the instance of a crash, the seatbelt may not properly restrain the driver and the passenger.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Ford is mailing owners instructions on how to check their front row seatbelts. If the passenger side fails, then they advise not driving with the passenger, and if the driver's side fails, they actually advise not driving the truck at all until repairs are made. Owners are asked to contact their dealership to have the truck towed and receive any repairs if necessary.
Wow. Okay.
Pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah, I mean, seems like a pretty big miss.
Yeah.
You know, for something that they've done so often, right? So
yeah, exactly.
That's a lot of vehicles, so it's a wide range.
Next here, if you're waiting to get your hands on a Ford Bronco, then you are going to have to wait even longer. Ford isn't taking any more online reservations for now. After receiving $190,100 deposits to date, they are stopping online reservations due to, of course, the increased demand as well as production issues. As you may know, Ford is having some quality issues with the supplier for the roofs of their hardtop models, causing more and more delays in production. The reservation system is set to be back up in October, and the website now directs customers to contact their local dealer for details on timing and options. Looks like the wait time is about 6 months to a year.
Wow. Well, I mean, again, it didn't cost that much to get an order. I wonder how many of those will actually convert to an actual sale.
Agreed.
But they're gonna have some troubles, not only with fixing their whole roof thing, but it sounds like the chip issue is spiked up again.
Bigger.
So yeah, but I don't know. They're still pretty cool looking.
I like them.
Yeah,
I think they look pretty good.
I cannot believe how much some of those things are going. For those that did get an early allocation,
crazy.
It's kind of stupid because eventually, I mean, they're going to be selling them.
They're going to come
not
out
a limited run, so
it's crazy how much some of them are going for.
But I guess if people want it now, then they got to pay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Huh? Okay.
All right, so more and more delays. That appears to be the current state of the market in the automotive industry. But the Rivian R1T production, as you know, has been delayed till September. But even without selling a single unit, Rivian has announced they filed with the SEC for an initial public offering. With that, Rivian is seeking an $80 billion valuation, meaning that if they secure this, on paper, it would make them more valuable than GM and Ford, who currently value at $72 billion and $53 billion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The company has yet to sell a unit, but they do have a factory in Normal, Illinois. They do plan to produce 100,000 vans for Amazon over the decade, and they are planning to construct an additional $5 billion, 10,000-acre factory for more production in 2023.
Interesting.
That's pretty aggressive on the valuation there, considering they haven't sold a vehicle yet.
Yeah, if they've got that level of commitment from Amazon, I guess that's something, but it's still just 100,000 units, and I say just. I mean that's pretty good. However, in the scheme of things, that's pretty small. So I wonder, there must be something else to why they're saying their company is worth so much. Maybe it's the technology with it, and they're still planning to maybe market their technology for others to use as well.
Yeah,
right?
that makes sense.
That's the only thing I can think of.
There
because
has
otherwise
to be
it's just the
something
vehicle.
else, because Toyota cut their production 40%, and they're still making 540,000 cars next month.
Yeah.
Or this month. Like that's.
Maybe they're saying their valuation's that good. Maybe they know how to make the chip that everybody needs.
Maybe. That's what it is right there. Now, next up here, according to public survey, Ram and Dodge have actually the highest initial quality. So the J.D. Power 2021 initial quality study, which is 223 questions, and surveys new car owners on problems they experience within the first 90 days of ownership, then assigns them a score based on problems per 100 vehicles.
Okay.
Ram owners reported 128 issues per 100 new cars, and Dodge 139 issues per 100 new cars. With that established, the top 5 of the study are Ram, Dodge, Lexus, Mitsubishi, and Nissan.
That is
which
fascinating.
Mitsubishi is interesting to me. But personally, at least in my opinion, I would never purchase a vehicle based off this.
No.
Do you know how subjective that is?
Yeah,
Like, 'cause you have to think of who's buying Mitsubishis and who's buying Audis.
True. I guess some people they may be a little more particular on certain things, but when you see something like Chrysler, right?
At 251.
Right. But I guess where I am impressed is like Ram and Dodge used to be with Chrysler and used to be clear at that end of the scale.
At the bottom.
So they obviously have done something, right,
Yeah,
to step up their game for those vehicles. So, kudos to them for getting after it. Because to your point, like, it is subjective and based on the buyer and how particular they are about the vehicle's little, creaks and rattles or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But for them to completely flip the scale, because I know positively I've seen Ram and Dodge at the lower end of that scale partnered with Chrysler because they were all on the same line in many cases, right? So, yeah, good for them.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I'm interested that Tesla's so high there.
So they don't, but they also don't count. So if you see at the bottom, brand is not ranked eligible because it does not meet study award criteria.
Interesting.
Which is interesting. I would like to know what that means.
Well, somehow they got some numbers and they're right there. But I know like Tesla owners are like banging the drum about Tesla, right? Like they are
Tesla owners.
Very well. Hey, they're very proud of the vehicles and they're pretty cool, revolutionary, right?
Yeah.
Like it opened the door for so many others. So it does sound like they've maybe had some initial quality issues. Okay.
So next here, the Toyota Corolla Cross is the newest Toyota vehicle to have an optional hybrid powertrain. Toyota confirmed the Corolla Cross will receive a hybrid variant, and that model will launch in the U.S. sometime in 2022. Okay. What are your thoughts on hybrids? I'm all right with hybrids.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't have anything against hybrids. I mean, some of the coolest cars out there are hybrids. The 918.
Yeah, that's a different kind of hybrid.
But it's
right?
a hybrid.
I suppose. But hey, you know what? If it helps get fuel economy and it helps the manufacturers get to the regulatory compliance that they're shooting for, hey, that's cool. I've had a few different hybrids from company vehicles and stuff, and I've definitely seen a different variety of how it's executed, and some do it well and some don't, and obviously that technology is progressing. So yeah, whatever. I mean, that's I guess it keeps the door open so that you can, still utilize, gasoline, which is so readily available now anyways. Right. But use less of it. So
for now.
Yeah. That's, interesting. That thing.
Yeah.
Every time I look at it, cause I feel like we've seen it before, but
we have.
It just screams Subaru somehow. Like
it really does.
I don't know why, but
no,
yeah,
I
it just
agree with
looks
you
like
100%. Well, I mean, they've been partnering a lot lately. So there's a
Yeah.
vehicle later, even after this next story, that they're partnering with Toyota on.
But yeah.
So this is cool. Not sure how the OG Lotus enthusiasts are going to feel about this one.
Okay.
I think it's cool, and I think it's important. So Lotus just keeps teasing us with cool new models and information about the future of the company. As you may know, Lotus completely erased its entire lineup and is transitioning to full electric, introducing the Emira as the last internal combustion car from Lotus and the Evija as the first EV hypercar. So with that, we got this teaser image. Lotus's future lineup will consist of 2 new SUVs, a coupe sedan, and the new EV sports car. These are being developed under the Vision 80 plan, the goal to be concluded by 2028, which is their 80th anniversary. Okay, so a lot of people aren't too happy about Lotus making SUVs, but I think it's cool. Porsche has to make SUVs to make cool cars. Everybody's got to make SUVs
as long as it's going to, I guess, 2 things. One, it's got to somehow keep the spirit, right?
Yes,
because I know that if you're an enthusiast, it doesn't make sense to have an SUV in your lineup. However, if you're an enthusiast, it does make sense for your brand to continue on. And right now, people buy SUVs, right?
Yeah.
And that is what's fueling the innovations and
Porsche,
production.
Porsche can give us a GT3 RS because they sell so many Macans and
Cayennes, right? So hey, bring it. And oh, by the way, if you can still get a little taste of that experience, because I can tell you that driving the Macan, It feels pretty good, and it
yeah.
feels like a Porsche.
It's awesome.
It's a little, it's sluggish in the corners and things like that, but nowhere near like a regular SUV.
Oh yes, not like
It still has the
Suburban.
spirit of Porsche in it, right?
Yeah.
And so I imagine, I haven't driven a Urus, bet you it's the same, right?
Yeah.
I bet you feel a flavor of the Lamborghini within it, right?
yeah.
So hey, you know what? If Lotus can somehow make a lightweight, nimble
and it's cool.
SUV that has
good.
some cool styling and what they've always done is brought a little bit of exotic for a little bit of money.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like but oh, by the way, the whole time they're known for their handling, right? And some of that is because of the weight.
Yeah.
So if they can figure that part out and make it like nimble and kind of fun, hey, go for it. That's great. Good for them. And if they make some money and it fuels cars that look like this one on the left,
yeah,
come on.
And enthusiasts need SUVs sometimes too. Like
You
people always get mad about SUVs, but like you kind of, if you have the money for it, it's nice to have a bigger vehicle. So why not have something that's fun and looks cool and is exotic, but
and
like
you can still have some people sit in the back.
Good for
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So to assist this huge transition, Lotus also created a new subsidiary called Lotus Technology, and the SUVs and coupe sedans are described by Lotus as lifestyle vehicles, and the official release says some cars on the new platform will be able to do 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. The larger SUV comes first with a launch scheduled next year, then the coupe sedan in 2023, and the smaller SUV in 2024, which can I say is fast.
Yeah.
Like that's a quick rollout to almost change an entire brand.
They must have some things underway already. And they're probably partnering with somebody on some of that development, right?
Oh, yeah.
But good for them. Hey,
yeah.
They take the brand further. That's cool. I will miss some of those cars sound pretty good.
They sound so good. It's going to be sad.
But
I'm going to miss the sound, man.
Then again, aren't a lot of them it's the Toyota motor, right? So
yeah.
So which is not, I'm not saying anything bad about it because that's it's a great way to go for, a smaller manufacturer to partner with somebody like that. So interested to see what they bring.
Me too. I'm very interested as well. Now we have some more updates on the Subaru Solterra EV. The EV SUV arrives in 2022 and has been developed jointly with Toyota, sharing the platform with their BZ4X. As far as new details go, Subaru has released some teaser images of the Solterra, and honestly, I really like that it kind of just looks like a normal car. Like, we'll get some more shots here, but it's not like some crazy artist rendition attempt at trying to make something new and fancy.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Except
I don't know, it's not integrated.
They kind of just threw a screen on there, but
it looks a lot better than your Subaru's infotainment screen.
True.
That's trash.
True. That thing wasn't great. Of course, it was entry level, and usually these things are like the high end. But it sure looks like the interior is pretty plain. Like look at the dash and the door and stuff. Like wow, that's
the same thing. Well, I mean,
interesting.
It is a
Again,
Subaru. You're not.
Well,
you're not looking for luxury.
I don't know. It at least had the look of like the Legacy that we had, that company car Legacy. The door panel and stuff had a little bit of like insert. Metal and stuff. Okay.
I also thought that like light thing is.
I don't know, the way it's reflecting off of there. It's just a reflection, or is it actually like a touchpad or something?
That's interesting. All right, now we have the first e-performance plug-in hybrid from AMG. Introducing the GT63 SE Performance. The vehicle has a combined 831 horsepower and 1,082 pound-feet of torque, using a twin-turbocharged 4-liter V8 making 630 horsepower and 664 pound-feet of torque by itself, and an electric motor providing an extra 201 horsepower for up to 10 seconds or 94 horsepower consistently. Crazy.
It's kind of silly. I mean, 800 horsepower in a 4-door sedan.
Pretty ridiculous. So what I do love, I just want to say, what I love about this is that they didn't change the way it looks. Like, it still looks like the AMG does, and they didn't make it look like weird.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can say it. They didn't make it look weird. So power is sent to all wheels via the 9-speed automatic transmission, rocketing the car from 0 to 62 in just 2.9 seconds and reaching 124 miles per hour in 10 seconds.
How much does that thing weigh? Because
it's got to be heavy.
Yeah, I mean,
it ain't light.
Well, obviously, with that kind of power, I don't know. That thing is silly. But how awesome it is. The way they didn't change the outside kind of makes it like, I mean, it's still a Mercedes and it's still kind of extreme looking because it's AMG, but it is a little bit of a sleeper, right? Like,
yeah, it really is.
If somebody pulled up next to that and didn't understand, or if you ordered it debadged or something,
which like, you can order
totally,
it debadged.
And then somebody rolls up to it, because if you go back that other slide there, the previous, that one, you get rid of that wing there, and I have visions of a Taurus SHO, especially the little, so I don't know. Yeah. And that thing would just smoke you and your Hellcat or whatever.
You destroyed.
Just romp on it. And then the kids get out of the back seat.
Exactly. You pull all the babies out and stuff.
That's awesome.
Car seats in there.
I love that they're still, getting after it with AMG. That's
agreed.
Cool.
So one thing also that I just kind of noticed, a little detail in these pictures, is that you can see the AMG or the Mercedes emblem is straight on all the wheels.
Oh yeah.
I think they edited that.
They penciled that in.
Doctored that in there. So with that, you can also expect some new colors, different styling, and more new model-specific options. Mercedes-AMG will announce the U.S. specs like pricing when we get closer to the launch for the 2023 model year. Subaru has revealed the 2022 Forester. The Forester gets redesigned with a front bumper and sharper LED headlights, with the grille also getting some new elements. The rear bumper then does receive some minor changes. With this, you get a 182 horsepower, 2.5-liter flat 4, and the Forester comes standard with all-wheel drive. The 2022 Forester also gets some technology upgrades, with all trim levels getting the 4th generation of Subaru EyeSight driver assist technology as standard, which is awesome. Yeah. I love that they're putting that standard on all their vehicles.
Yeah, good for them.
And the interior has some minor trim changes throughout and receives optional gesture control for climate control settings, which is pretty cool. That's not good. Like Subaru. There's also now the addition of the Wilderness model, which is the images we're seeing here, which feature an upgraded drivetrain race suspension, but also a higher price, starting at $33,945 over the base model, which is just $26,320.
Interesting. Yeah. Hey, do you know if those what did you say that was with the gesture control?
Yeah.
Do you know if that works from like sensing the heat, a proximity sensor?
I don't know.
Because what happens if you're wearing gloves or something?
BMW has one where you go like this to put the volume up, volume down.
Even on the Macan, when you get close to the screen, it changes and offers you more features. So it's a proximity sensor of some sort.
Like a laser grid.
I don't know.
Or something.
I've never tried it with gloves on though to see if it still does that. So
that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
So we recently saw the Audi Skysphere concept that literally transforms into the sportier coupe. Yeah. Now we have the Grand Sphere concept. So the Audi Grand Sphere concept separates itself from the Skysphere with a more luxurious approach and 4 doors. So the 2 electric motors push 711 horsepower and up to 686 pound-feet of torque, with a claimed 0 to 60 of 4 seconds and a driving range of 466 miles. The interior is where this thing really shines, though. In autonomous mode, the steering wheel is hidden underneath the dash.
What?
And the car's infotainment is projected onto the dashboard, and a series of cameras track the driver's eyes and flicks through the menus based on their movement. It's crazy.
That is wild.
It's crazy.
But there's some creativity for screen work and stuff like that. That is awesome.
It's pretty
How
wild.
about the exterior of that car is stunning.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful.
I really like it.
An
I don't like it as
job.
much as that A6 concept.
No, but still it's up there.
But it looks pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know about the steering wheel not disappearing in full autonomous. I get it, but right now you still have to kind of be there, right?
Well, this is future, man.
I guess, yeah. That back seat does not look comfortable.
It looks horrible. Okay, I'm glad you said something, because when I looked at that, I thought it would be awful. Check out the plant too.
Yeah.
You grow stuff in here, Audi.
That's cool.
There's a clip of the steering wheel.
Look at the GPS. It takes up that entire thing, the scenery and everything.
Which I think would be fantastic.
That's pretty cool.
I love that.
That's pretty cool.
So the steering wheel and gauge cluster, as you can see, come from behind the dashboard when the driver wants or needs to take control for things like getting off or onto the highway. This is merely just a concept, but Audi claims they are working on a production version that is aiming to launch sometime in the middle of this decade, which that seems a little ambitious to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey,
That kind of
whatever.
autonomous driving and that capability, I mean, maybe Audi knows something I don't. I mean, they probably do.
They've got a long way to go with regulators and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But interesting. I mean, it's kind of a cool concept if it just would fold away just because. You know, you go to a drive-in movie or something, which nobody does that anymore, but some people do. Or you go camping, or you go. You know, you're not going to go with this thing, but I mean, if you applied that technology to other things, you'd have more room in your seat and that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Interesting.
So next here, we have more updates on the NHTSA investigation into Tesla Autopilot crashes. So as NHTSA investigates the 12 incidents when Teslas crashed into parked emergency vehicles, they are requesting Tesla to provide a wide-ranging set of data related to its Autopilot driver assistance system. So there has actually been an additional crash. Before it was 11, there's now 12. So there's another one that they're investigating that just happened. So NHTSA asked Tesla to provide a list of every Tesla outfitted with the tech, including the hardware and software versions each car uses, information on every crash the company knows of involving a vehicle that has Autopilot, precise details on the operating limits of Autopilot, and a list of situations that would cause the system to disengage and how driver inputs can override Autopilot functions. Tesla has until October 22nd to give them all of this data. That's a lot of work that Tesla's got to do to find all that stuff.
It could be. I don't know. Who knows with the electronics and everything. They
analytics system in the back. They're like, oh, this many are on this system.
Maybe do Control F.
Yeah, exactly.
Find.
Pretty crazy though. And again, if that ends up being a recall on Autopilot systems, that'll affect around 765,000 vehicles.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
so that's a lot. That's crazy.
But I mean, this technology can't come at the price of someone's safety or someone's life, right? So while it's still in its infant stages, they're still figuring it out, and I think it'll be great once they finally do. But hey, it's important to make sure that they review it all. So.
I agree 100%.
Oh, by the way, just totally changing the subject, and I think I may have mentioned it before, but I saw another Tesla today, and I really like what they've done with the front end now.
It's way better.
And it's really foolish, right? Because you don't need vents and openings in the front of a car that doesn't have a normally aspirated combustion engine. However, it's just nice to see those. It just brings some familiarity to it, and that just looks so much better. So,
I agree 100%.
I like that.
I like it. All right, so with that is it for today's episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check us out on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at AnthonyCIFAL. With that, you have an excellent rest of your week.
Thanks for hanging out with us for a bit, and we'll catch you later.
Peace out.